Hey guys, so I've finally beaten Uber Elder and I thought it's time to make a video about my Impale, my one-hand Impale Cyclone Slayer, aka Champion. I'm gonna go about the gear, gems, and the passive tree and some alternatives to whatever decision I made. So yeah, hope that gives you an idea about the build and I can maybe get you to play it sometimes. So yeah, we're gonna start off. We are mostly an Impale build, so we are stacking a really high physical damage amount. So we obviously have purely physical weapons. We are going for the Druid Foizi because they have mathematically the highest base damage. Also they have a weapon range of 14, which is really nice for Cyclone. What you want to have on these are either increased physical damage or increased adds physical damage, and you want to craft the other one on it, which you didn't have in the first place. Then you want to have attack speed, crit chance on them, and yeah, maybe quality roll if you can. If you're a Slayer, you might gonna want to go for the hits cannot be evaded mode, but that was too expensive for me and I didn't want to take it because I was close to 100%, so yeah, I didn't bother too much here. We're using 3 uniques right now, which are really cheap. So we have Subconscious Head here, which is like 5C or something. You take this for life, dexterity, and defense, and some offense, and critical strike chance, and attack speed. Yeah, it's really good. For Love Enchantment, we want to Cyclone damage here. Attack speed is also fine, but damage is preferred. Chest is Bronze Lathe. This gives us a lot of damage for movement skills, which our Cyclone obviously is. So yeah, we want to go this way. If you want to be more tanky, then I can also suggest you Belly of the Beast or maybe a Law Weave. If you want to go faster, then go Queen of the Forest. It's really up to you. For belt, we are using Belt of the Deceiver. That's mostly for the beginning because it's really cheap. It gives you Intimidated, which is a really good damage multiplier that you want. It also has increased global physical damage and yeah, some elemental resistances, which is also pretty good. For our rares, we're going to grab some rings with minus to total mana cost of skills. This is key because we are not having any mana. We are going down to 15 mana here, which is not usable for any skill, I guess. So we want to have this mode on at least 1 ring, preferably on 2. It doesn't have to be -8, but yeah, you need at least -9 because Cyclone will cost 9 mana. And yeah, you want some life on them, resistances obviously, and if you can afford them, steel or diamond rings with adds to physical damage to attacks roll on it. For our amulet, we go with an intelligence fix amulet because we really need intelligence. We're using 1 infused channeling and we are mostly running around in the Marauder area and the Duelist area. So we barely have no intelligence there, so yeah. Turquoise amulet here for intelligence. You can also go with a Lapis amulet, that's really up to you. And for the rolls, you want to have intelligence, physical damage to attacks, global critical strike chance, maybe resistance if you're uncapped yet, otherwise go for a crit multiplier. For our gloves and our boots, we basically want to fix our resistances. And for boots, we want to go movement speed and yeah, life, preferably more than I have here. And the enchant here should be attack speed and cast speed if you've killed recently. And for gloves, yeah, basically the same, but you want to have maybe an adds physical damage to attacks roll on this or attack speed, and yeah, if you can afford it, intelligence to top you off. For Flask, we are going Lion's Roar for melee damage and also defense. Diamond Flask, we are crit build, we need a Diamond Flask, that's pretty obvious. Quicksilver to go fast, Silver Flask to be fast and have curse immunity with increased duration, really handy. And we use a Basalt Flask for additional physical damage reduction and freeze immunity. As for the gems, we have 4 auras activated at the moment. That is Dread Banner, Pride, Blood and Sand, and Flesh and Stone. These are all pretty solid for us for physical damage stacking. Dread Banner is pretty much a no-brainer because it gives us increased Impale effect and we try to stack as much as possible. Then we have Pride, which is a more multiplier for physical damage taken to nearby enemies, which is really good. And there's also an Watcher's Eye jewel, which we want to have in the later stages of the build, which gives us 2 additional hits with Impale, which is really strong. It's mathematically roughly a 40% more multiplier. So yeah, that's a really big boost afterwards. And yeah, Blood and Sand, we are mostly sitting in blood for area damage, but you can also sit in sand for mapping to have more area of effect. One problem here is that currently Flesh and Stone and Blood and Sand are somewhat shared. So if you swap one of them, the other one swaps too. So every time you swap to more AE, you also swap to Blinding. So you double lose damage. So yeah, I prefer to sit in damage because it's just the better trade-off. Then we have our MAME support and Flesh and Stone. MAME support has been changed to support anything that can maim enemies, and since our Flesh and Stone is an aura around us that lets enemies take increased physical damage, we can support it with MAME support, and that adds another 14% on top of it. For our active buffs, we have Blood Rage, Phase Run, Haste, Val Haste, and Ancestral War Chief. You can also go for the Val version here, and you want to support it with increased duration to have longer duration, obviously. You pop these whenever you are fighting larger packs or a boss. For defense, we're gonna go with a cast damage taking Mortal Coil setup. Take note here that you have to have the right levels, otherwise cast damage taken will not trigger Mortal Coil, neither Punishment nor Summon Ice Golem. So yeah, you want to use these together, have them on the right level. On cast damage taken you can read which supports it can support. Which gems it can support, so yeah, level 50 is here, so we go for level 50 Mortal Coil. Also we have Summon Ice Golem here. This is mostly for Slayer, because we want to top off our accuracy, and crit chance is also pretty nice. On the champion version you don't really need these, you can also go Summon Lightning Golem for attack speed. And for damage we want to have Punishment to deal more melee damage to everything that hits us. For our movement setup we go with a Leap Slam, fast attacks, Endurance Charge, or melee stun support, and Fortify support. So pop these every 5 seconds to hit any target, and you will have Fortify and Endurance Charges and keep your Endurance Charges alive. So this will defensively really help you out. And our main setup is Cyclone and Val Cyclone. Val Cyclone is not mandatory in this case. Val Cyclone will even kill you in high maps if you pop Legion encounters around you, because you can't really be stationary in these. So I highly advise only using this on low tier maps. Otherwise just use Cyclone, because if you're mobile you can dodge way more. Brutality support, this is also a reason because why we are going physical, because we deal no elemental and no chaos damage, but also get a really big amount of physical damage more. So yeah, this is pretty key and we have to use it basically. Then we have Impale support. This is a must-have. It has the biggest Impale effect that we can get, and also it tops us off to the 100%. Yeah. Close combat is a new support, 59% more melee damage to enemies based on proximity, so the closer they are the better. And it also gives us a combat rush, which grants us 24% more attack and cast speed to travel skills, so we can Leap Slam after we use Cyclone rather quick. We also have infused channeling support. This is the reason why we are stacking a little bit of intelligence, because it gives us 39% more damage, but also 10% more damage of types matching. So we have physical here, so we get 10% more damage because of this one, and also we get 8% less damage taken from hits of the matching type, so that is again physical, so we get less damage. The last one is debatable. This is melee physical damage support. It's basically a raw damage multiplier. You can also swap this out for maps for Pulverize to get more AoE, but it is a little bit of less damage because you are losing attack speed. Another option is Fortify. If you are lazy with the Leap Slam, then you can use Fortify. It gives you a little bit of damage, but also the perma Fortify. Yeah, so we're going over the skill tree now. First things first, Ascendancy, we are Slayer. So we basically start off with Impact. So we have a lot of AoE for mapping, for leveling. It's also a decent chunk of damage, and yeah, overall it's a really strong and really good node. It has been added recently, so we should take this one. The next one is Endless Hunger. This is pretty much the main reason why you go Slayer usually. You have overkill damage leeched as life, so you're overleeching all the time. You can't decide you are immune to bleeding while leeching, and to make it even better we have Brutal Fervor, which makes it so that our life leech is not removed when you're full life. So if you hit something really hard and you just move on, then you will still be healed for a few seconds, 5 seconds basically. So this is really strong, and defensively it's hard to beat. And yeah, this is the reason why Slayer is a little bit ahead of Champion. It's 10% more damage if you've killed recently, but also 20% more damage against unique enemies, which is just insane. And yeah, cannot take reflect physical damage, makes it so that we can almost run every map in the game. The only one that we can't run is cannot leech. There's also a bit of debate if you can take Bane of the Legends for, let's say, impact. This is 5% more damage. I don't really think it's worth it, but also you have more AoE here, so yeah, it's really much better for mapping, so I would highly suggest taking impact over Bane of the Legends. You could also drop the overleech, but I think this is like the key note that you should have on a Slayer if you play Slayer. Okay, for the skill tree, we start off leveling with raw physical damage. So we go down here to Gladiator's Perseverance, which gives us physical damage but also life leech. That's really nice. Then we want to go down to Dervish, which gives us physical damage, and then slowly move our way to life and mana leech. So we have a little bit of mana leech at the start. If you're having many problems by leveling, then go down to Spirit Void as well. But this should really top you off. There's no way you can't have mana with this one. Yeah, and then we are gonna move over to Hound Edge here to get more damage. Take every life node on your way, don't forget about these. Yeah, then we wanna go to the big node here, Constitution, to get more increased maximum life. We wanna go down here to Blade of the Cunning to get more damage. And we wanna go to Blade Master. Just simply don't forget the life nodes because we will have problems otherwise leveling. Yeah, but we are basically vaporizing everything anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Depends on you, but I prefer taking some life midway. As soon as we are done with all the raw nodes, we start speccing into Impale. So the first nodes you're gonna take are these ones, because they have the highest Impale effect, which is 20%, and also gives you flat damage attack speed. And yeah, this is really mandatory. You have to take these on Champion and on Slayer. The other wheel here is basically only for Slayer because Champion is already topped off. And this only gives us 10% chance Impale effect, which is here on the minor node and the bigger node. So this is only for the Slayer to top his Impale chance off. Yeah, if you got the Impale nodes, you want to spec into crit chance. So you go here up to Disemboweling, you want to take Dismembering, and you want to go over to Twin Terrors here. Val Impact and Iron Reflexes are pretty much up to you. I usually take Val Impact if I notice that my life leech doesn't keep me up anymore, so I take Val Pact. But most of the time I use it after the third or after the last lap, because I don't want to die in lap, and yeah. It tends to happen more often if you don't, if you have Val Pact already. And Iron Reflexes, if you're having a lot of evasion rating in your gear, then yeah, just fix it this way. Okay, so for jewels, we want to have jewels like this, increase the critical strike chance, multiplier, and life. What's also nice is to have some physical damage on these. That's really up to you, or just stack more multiplier. Whatever you can afford. You could also go the really cheap version, which I have here, which is physical damage, attack speed, and life. Preferably you have another physical damage roll to attacks with swats on this one. But yeah, I really suggest taking these. If you want to go really high in damage, then you can also go with the Tempered Flash here. Tempered Flash gives you 5% critical strike multiplier per 10 strength on unallocated passives and radius. So we really have a lot of nodes here. So if we take this, we have 70% increased critical strike multiplier, which is really big. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much everything that's to say about this. Gonna do a quick map now. Let's see if I have something here. Run a Carcass map here. Yeah. If you have any questions, just ask me down in YouTube comments or in my guide. I have a big FAQ there already. If you have any questions. Yeah. So as you can see, you wanna start off with Blood Rage on. Just jump through, keep your 45 up, keep your new charges up. You're quite fast on your way. Yeah. The speed is really respectable. You're basically one-shotting everything at a solid stage with damage. Your weapons don't even have to be really high for this. My starter weapons had like 320% physical damage, which was already really respectable for this. I was already one-shotting T15 bosses. T16 took a little bit longer, but yeah, with 390 physical damage weapons, it was already doable to one-shot every phase. I will also upload Elder, Uber Elder and the kills afterwards. so you can check these out as well. Yeah. And that was pretty much a one-shot, I guess. And yeah, that's our damage potential right here. I'm obviously not topped off yet. There's a lot of potential in this. It's currently advised that as 30 million damage build advertised, but it can easily reach 30 million, I'd say, with the Watcher's Eye, best in slot gear. We could also go double curse on this vulnerability punishment. That's totally up to you. It just depends on how much you want to invest in this char. It really doesn't take much to get it going. I've pumped like 10x into this build yet, and most of it was in my weapon so far. Yeah. Yeah. The Legion encounters are quite smooth, I'd say. There's a few sticky situations. Basically don't get hit by the wall of death, if you know what I mean. The red wall, which will probably be nerfed yet now in the coming days. Yeah, but we are pretty much set for whole Legion content, I'd say. Didn't have any problems so far in the emblem fights. Yeah. It's really nothing, yeah, it's not really low damage here, I'd say, for 10x build. Just remember, my weapons are really high already. They don't have to be this high. They could be like 50C weapons. You would already run this smooth through the map. And yeah. Right. Hope that answered a lot of questions, and if you need anything, just let me know. Alright. See you next time. Bye bye.